You're done, thief!
This is a setup.
Game over. The proof is here.
You know, it all started on this rainy evening in Seattle, back when I was feeling like the weight of the world had just crushed whatever faith I had left in people. My business partner had just run off with $2 million from our tech firm, Harrington Innovations, leaving me staring at the ruins of what I'd built from scratch over 20 years, and honestly, it made me question if anyone out there was truly honest anymore. So there I was, James Harrington, 40-something tech mogul with more money than sense sometimes, slouched in my leather chair in the corner office overlooking the Puget Sound, pretending to be dead asleep with my safe cracked wide open, stacks of cash spilling out like some tempting trap. I figured, if even a kid couldn't resist, then yeah, humanity was done for. But then this little girl, Lily, just 6 years old with her tiny blue gloves that her mom had gotten her to feel like she was helping out, walks in holding her mother's hand, and instead of grabbing a handful like I half expected, she starts neatly sorting the bills, whispering to herself about how messy it all looked. And man, that hit me like a freight train, freezing me right there in my fake slumber as tears welled up behind my closed eyes. I mean, let's back up a bit. Sophia, Lily's mom, had been cleaning our offices for 3 years now, showing up every night shift with that quiet determination that comes from someone who's fought tooth and nail just to keep the lights on. She was a single mom in her late 20s, grew up bouncing between foster homes after her folks passed in a car wreck. When she was 10, scraped through community college while flipping burgers, but never quite made it to a full degree because life kept throwing curveballs like getting pregnant with Lily and the dad vanishing faster than a bad investment. She'd bring Lily along during summer breaks because daycare was a luxury they couldn't swing, and the kid would just sit there doing puzzles or drawing stick figures of superheroes, never causing a fuss, which honestly made me admire Sophia more than I let on. She taught Lily these simple rules, you know, like, we don't take what's not ours, even if nobody's looking. And it wasn't preachy, it was just how they lived, scraping by on her 2 jobs, one mopping floors here at night, and another stocking shelves at a local clinic during the day. I'd been watching them discreetly for weeks after that embezzlement mess shattered my Trust Me partner, who'd been like a brother, cooking the books right under my nose because he was drowning in gambling debts from some shady Vegas trips we'd taken together years ago, and it left me paranoid, wondering if everyone around me was just waiting for their chance to stab me in the back. But Lily's act that night, it wasn't just about not stealing. She organized those stacks with such care, separating 20s from hundreds like she was handling fragile glass. And when she tugged on Sophia's sleeve to show her, saying, "Mama, Mr. James's money was all jumbled up. I fixed it just like you do with our jar at home." Sophia panicked a little, whispering back, "Sweetie, we don't touch the boss's stuff." But Lily just beamed, "But it'll make him smile when he wakes up." And there I was, pretending to stir awake, my heart pounding, feeling this warmth I hadn't known in ages, like a crack in the ice around my cynicism. I played it cool, thanked them casually, but inside, it sparked something. I started slipping extra cash into Sophia's paycheck, calling it a performance bonus through HR, figuring it was the least I could do for someone who raised a kid with more integrity than half the executives I knew. Little did I know, that small act of kindness was about to stir up a hornet's nest with Edward Thornton, our VP of operations, a silver spoon guy in his 50s who'd inherited his stake from his old man, one of the company's co-founders. And let's just say Edward had a chip on his shoulder bigger than the Space Needle. Grew up in those gated communities where diversity was something you read about in magazines. And he carried this quiet resentment toward anyone who didn't fit his mold, especially folks like Sophia, who he saw as beneath the corporate ladder. It started subtle. You know, Edward catching wind of the pay bump during a budget meeting, leaning back in his chair with that smug grin, saying, "James, why are we throwing extra dough at the janitorial staff, especially that one? I mean, come on. Give them an inch and they'll take the whole damn milehights." Just how some people are wired. His voice dripping with that faux concern that masked his real bias, born from years of watching his family manipulate HOA boards in their upscale neighborhood to keep undesirables out, fights over property lines and community rules that escalated into lawsuits because, deep down, it was about control, about preserving this illusion of superiority that made him feel secure in his privilege. I brushed it off at first, shot back, Sophia's the best we've got, reliable as hell. But he chuckled, low and mocking. Reliable? Dragging her kid around like this is some playground shows a lack of proper boundaries, if you ask me. And that jab hit home because I knew he wasn't just talking work. It was personal, tied to his own messy divorce where he'd lost custody battles over accusations of emotional neglect, projecting his failures onto others. But when I overheard him cornering Sophia in the hallway later that week, his face red, voice booming. I know you're getting perks you don't deserve. What kind of favors are you pulling for that? And get that brat out of here. This ain't a charity case. Sophia standing tall but trembling, hugging Lily close as the girl whimpered. Mama, why's he yelling? And Sophia replying with quiet steel. Some folks are just unhappy inside. Baby, don't let it touch you. That's when my blood boiled. This purifying rage bubbling up because Edward wasn't just prejudiced. He was a bully using his power to grind down people who reminded him of his own insecurities, like how he'd sabotaged minority hires in the past to protect his legacy, fearing they'd outshine him and expose his mediocrity. I couldn't just sit there anymore. Watching from the shadows had its limits, and Edward had crossed into territory that demanded action. So I called up my old buddy Alex Rivera, a retired FBI guy I'd worked with during the embezzlement probe, a sharp-witted Latino investigator in his 40s who'd seen every corporate snake in the book, and I laid it out. Alex, I need dirt on Thornton, solid proof of his crap, the racism, the power trips, all of it. And he laughed over the phone. That entitled prick? Easier than pie. Guys like him always leave breadcrumbs. Meanwhile, Edward ramped up his harassment, fabricating complaints to HR about Sophia being late. Since her clock-ins were spotless, storming into the director's office, Sandra, a no-nonsense woman who'd climbed the ranks herself, and barking. Her kid's a distraction, and honestly, people like her shouldn't have free reign after hours. His words laced with that venomous implication, but Sandra pushed back. I need evidence, Mr. Thornton, and he snarled. My words, evidence enough. I am the VP, remember? All the while, I was recording it via the security cams he'd ironically pushed for to monitor productivity, turning his own tools against him. Then he went darker, ambushing Sophia in the parking lot one foggy evening, blocking her path with his luxury SUV glaring in the headlights, sneering. I know you're trading something extra for that cash. What's your price, huh? Everyone's got one. And Lily clutching her mom's leg, whispering, Is he a monster, Mama? Sophia holding her ground, voice steady despite the fear. Sir, you're crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. I'm just here to work. But he leaned in closer, his breath hot with whiskey from a long lunch. Work? Please, you're lucky to be here at all. Keep pushing, and I'll make sure you regret it. That was the tipping point. Me inner conflict. This battle between staying detached like I'd always done to protect my empire, and stepping up because ignoring it now felt like complicity, especially after Lily's honesty had cracked open that door in my heart. I mean, I'd built Harrington Innovations on innovation. But what good was tech if it didn't stand for something human? So with Alex's help, we dug deep, unearthed his history of bullying Black and Hispanic staff at prior gigs, settlements hushed by Daddy's checkbook, private social media rants where he'd post crap like, gotta keep the riffraff in check before they overrun the place. All tied to his upbringing in a family that hoarded power like it was oxygen, fighting neighborhood disputes over everything from fence heights to who could join the country club, masking their fear of change with rules and intimidation. We wired up extra mics in conference rooms, caught him on a late-night call to his father. Dad, this cleaning woman's getting uppity, need you to pull strings, plant some theft rumors or immigration checks, whatever sticks. And his old man sighing. Son, principles matter. If we let them think they're equals, the whole structure crumbles. It was gold proof of conspiracy, discrimination, all fueled by Edward's deep-seated jealousy that someone like Sophia, with nothing handed to her, embodied the grit he lacked, especially after his own failed ventures that Daddy always bailed out. The climax hit like a storm on Tuesday night. Edward, smug as ever, plants a fancy $10,000 gold chain in Sophia's cleaning cart, muttering to himself, Gotcha now, you thief, thinking he'd frame her during a routine check, calling in guards for the show. He bursts in as Sophia dusts the shelves, Lily coloring nearby, and with theatrical flair, Well, what's this? A missing necklace from my desk. How convenient it's in your stuff. His eyes gleaming with triumph. Sophia gasping. I've never seen that before. Sir, this is wrong. And Lily tearing up. Mama didn't do it. He snaps at the guards. Call the cops. We've got a thief. But that's when I stride in with Alex and a couple of reporters I'd tipped off, local journalists hungry for a corporate scandal, and I say coolly, hang up that phone, Edward. Game's over. His face drains of color as Alex pulls up the feeds. Here's you buying the chain this morning. Receipt, and all. Here's you planting it. Crystal clear from angles you didn't know existed. And I pile on, projecting his racist chats for all to see, reading aloud. These types always have a price. Sound familiar? Sophia's eyes widen in shock, Edward stammering. This is entrapment, you can't. But one reporter jumps in. Mr. Thornton, care to comment on your history of harassment suits? Or the call plotting to ruin an innocent woman's life? He tries to bolt, but Alex blocks him, grinning. Oh, and your accounts are frozen. Board's voting you out, your family's selling shares to cut losses. Congrats, you've torched your legacy. As the cops haul him away and cuffs him, sputtering, my influence will bury this. But Alex quipping, had influence, till the leaks hit the news an hour ago. I turn to Sophia, who's hugging Lily tight, tears streaming, and she whispers, you knew? You planned this. I nod, kneeling to Lily's level. Yeah, and that bad man's gone for good. Kiddo, no more scaring your mom. It was satisfying, cinematic even, watching his empire crumble in real time. The handcuffs clicking like the final nail in his coffin of arrogance, all because his need to dominate, rooted in that fragile ego from a lifetime of unearned wins. Finally met someone who fought back with facts and fire. But as he vanished into the squad car, glaring back with pure venom, I couldn't help wondering if this was full justice, or if guys like him ever truly learn, or just slink away to poison another corner of the world. Fast forward 6 months. And Sophie is no longer pushing a mop's our head of employee relations, finishing that degree on company dime, launching programs for working parents like scholarships for their kids, Lily being the first, now thriving in a top school, dreaming of being a detective to catch mean people like that man. My company's transformed 2 awards for diversity, hiring folks from all walks, turning into this beacon because one little girl's honesty reminded me that real power isn't hoarding wealth. It's lifting others up, and honestly, it healed parts of me I didn't know were broken, from that betrayal to my own isolated life. Edward, last I heard, after a year in the slammer for discrimination and fraud, he's flipping burgers in some suburb, divorced, kids not speaking to him. His name Mud on Lina. Karma's a beast, right? But 3 years on, at Lily's 9th birthday bash in the new home I helped them get, I announce a fund in her name for underrepresented youth scholarships. And she hugs me, saying, you're my hero, Mr. James. But I tell her, nah, it's your mom and you, for showing me trust starts small. Yet, as fulfilling as it all feels, I sometimes ponder the gray areas. Was exposing him publicly too harsh or necessary to spark change? Could he have reformed if I'd confronted him privately? Or was his hate too ingrained from those community battles where prejudice masqueraded as protecting standards? It makes you think about how deep these divides run in our neighborhoods, offices, even families. Where do we draw the line between justice and vengeance? Hey, if this tale got you reflecting on your own run-ins with bias or bullies, drop a comment below. What's the wildest injustice you've seen at work or in your community, and how'd you handle it? Do you think guys like Edward deserve a shot at redemption, or is public downfall the only way to make him learn? Share your thoughts. Hit that like if it resonated. Subscribe for more real-life twists that prove kindness packs a punch. And let's keep the conversation going. Your story might inspire the next big change.